So the Chicago Bears just did an underrated move, and I think it's made all the difference and really led to this winning streak. And we're not used to seeing this, right? As Bears fans, we're riding a two-game win streak and we're preparing for the London game against the Jaguars this weekend. And my thought was leading up to this game, it's like, what's different? I mean, is Caleb just getting better and more comfortable? Has offensive line kicked in? And I think these things are true, but maybe the biggest thing is that the running game has been dominant. And that big adjustment made by our offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, a pretty robust scheme adjustment. It's made all the difference. And it's not just a tweak, it's a full shift over the last two games. Nobody's talking about it besides the guys over at Sports Mockery. And I want to give them props. You guys use them as your go-to for Chicago Bears material, or one of them. They do fantastic work. I just want to give them credit. And this is Sports Talk Bears. I'm Sean. Hey, we are moving towards 10,000 subscribers on this page. If you get a second, hit the subscribe button, join the family. So let's move forward here and let's talk about this. We've got to give offensive coordinator Shane Waldron credit for being humble and also just tossing his game plan out the window and formulating this big change. He's truly showing now that he's able to adjust on the fly, and that was his reputation coming into Chicago, right? And I firmly believe that if we're going to criticize, we also have to recognize good coaching as well. And so much was being tossed around at the time about DeAndre Swift. We overpaid. He's not the right fit. The offensive line, they can't handle the blocking assignments. That was actually true. And even that Philly was the reason that he was even above average and had 1,000 yards last year. I don't blame everyone because we are at 1.84 yards per carry. That's awful. Something needed to change. And there's even a big call for his benching. So Shane Waldron was in a situation. He had to examine if his scheme was a problem. And this Sports Mockery story outlines what the original game plan was. And they do it so well. Kind of a mixed bag of like outside zone reads, even I formation. And I don't think it was ever fully a talent deficit on the line. They just weren't able to block this scheme well. They weren't suited for it. And opponents, as a reaction, they were selling out. They were crowding the line of scrimmage. There were zero running lanes. It just wasn't working, obviously. So Shane Waldron, instead of doing what past coordinators have done, hello, Matt Nagy, hello, Luke Getsy. I hate even saying his name. Instead of doing what past coordinators have done, this is my scheme. You guys got to just play better. He actually adjusted to his personnel. So he switched to what's called a split zone. Now, I needed this explained to me. I'm going to provide the same courtesy. And it's basically when 5 linemen concentrate on blocking only the 3 defensive linemen and the linebackers. It ends up being a lighter ask. And Waldron has the strength in knowing how to use his tight ends as well. So he's now using a tight end to contribute with blocking assignments by moving them across the formation to take care of the free defensive end. And this does more than divide and conquer with blocking assignments. It spreads the responsibility that 10 times fast, cut back lane. Defenses end up overcompensating on one side. This creates mismatches. The offenses, they can exploit that. And it's just another way for the offense to actually dictate the action instead of the defense. And that combined with the no huddle, more confusing and diverse motion packages, those are being used. That confuses the defense. They can no longer substitute in the way they would like, and it's paid huge dividends. Now, this can't be run constantly or the defense gets wise, right? But this scheme shift, it's led to the breakaway runs that you've seen over the last couple of weeks. And we've even seen a guy like Doug Kramer get into the action. This has been a lot of fun to see. But initially, it looks like he's simply filling a fullback role. But actually, what he's doing, he's playing the part of the pulling tight end. Super refreshing to see after the offensive coordinators that we've had in the past. And say what you will about the bad start, but this players meeting that was held, it was led by veteran Mercedes Lewis. It's made a huge difference. The team even recognized that Mercedes Lewis got the game ball after the big win against the Rams. And Shane Waldron, he's now putting his stamp on this team in a positive way. And this is what we want to see, right? We can be overly critical, but we want to see that. We need to support this change in coaching by Waldron. We need to celebrate what he's doing right now. And the last thing we want is for him to be run out of town. The coaching staff gets fired. Caleb gets a whole new scheme and personnel after only 1 year. He loses confidence. He's got to adjust again, rinse and repeat. This is what we're famous for doing in Chicago, right? Throwing the baby out with the bathwater every single year, and we never get any continuity. So instead, let's allow for some growth from the coaching staff. This is while the players are growing as well. And I, for one, I'm willing to do that. You want to join me in this? And another odd thing that was happening too, this is kind of ridiculous. The offense looked so disjointed starting games. Beginning of the season, the offensive line, just poor play, weird play calls, everything getting off to a slow start. This just came out. Waldron was not doing something every team in the NFL does. He wasn't scripting out the first 15 plays or so. Just ridiculous. He was kind of winging it. Now, what's the reason behind this? I don't know if it was overconfidence. I don't know if it was the desire to just, I want to be able to adjust on the fly while I'm adjusting to my personnel, but whatever he was doing, it just wasn't working. Was Waldron feeling initially like he was in over his head, maybe starting the year? Has he just settled in now? Or was it simply this? Trying to figure out the strengths and fit of his offensive personnel. So he was running his familiar scheme, right? And he was using his guys to do it that he coached before. Maybe that's why we are seeing like kind of silly things like Travis Homer and Gerald Everett on the field in important situations early in the year during 2-minute situations. Maybe it's because they knew what he wanted to do extremely well, so he was leaning that way as he learned his personnel. Because the regular season, it's a completely different cadence and speed compared to the preseason, right? Regular season is different. Maybe this was part of the adjustment process, but regardless, things are dialed in now. Even his body language, the body language of our offensive coordinator is totally different on the sidelines. And over these last 2 games, Waldron is now scripting the plays. This is a much better move. It's provided a clear path for the offense, especially for a rookie quarterback. He's able to know exactly what to expect at the outset of games. He's able to run high percentage plays, gaining confidence, gaining rhythm. And also, I mean, knowing exactly what's coming next and fitting those plays together to get off to a fast start, it's just a really good thing, and it's the right move. I'm glad Shane Waldron is doing it now. Why on earth did we start out that way? Absolutely no idea. I'm just throwing out guesses as to why. But the important thing is this. The offense has looked so much better. After all this nonsense, we're sitting at 3-2. Caleb is developing rapidly every single game, and I'm going to focus on what's happening now. I'm going to be guilty of recency bias, so that's okay with me. But this is an exciting thing. This offense is starting to really come together at the perfect time because the defense, there's some chinks in the armor now. This no-fly zone, our defense on the back end. We're going to be missing Jaquan Brisker. He's going to be staying at home, recovering from this concussion that he sustained in this last game against Carolina. And if you remember, this was on an illegal hit by, I believe it's their tight end, Tommy Tremble. He lowered his helmet as Brisker was coming in, perfectly textbook with the right way of tackling as the rules dictate. And I don't really get how this rule is on the books for offensive players, but the referees refuse to call it with regularity. I mean, I think Green Bay's running back, he was fined about $45,000. CeeDee Lamb, he got a penalty for this unnecessary roughness penalty, but that was paired with, I think, like a 20 grand plus fine. Those are exceptions, though. The NFL is not calling this to a consistent level. And now you've got 2 players concussed as a result. I mean, I cannot believe that a fine wasn't assessed after that. But anyways, Brisker's going to be out. And now we're looking at Tyreek Stevenson. He's going to be out with an unexpected injury as well. We've got Jalen Jones. We've got a guy like Jonathan Owens. We've also got some other guys that are going to fill in the cracks with this. I don't think it's going to be as big of a drop off as other teams would have in this situation, because everyone that's going to be coming in, it's going to be more of a rotation. Every single guy has a lot of experience in this defense. They've been with the team for quite a while, and they've actually had experience on the field, and they've been successful doing it. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a drop off on the secondary. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's going to be like a mostly can't fly zone, I guess. But with this little tweak in the defense, I think it's going to enable a little more scoring from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, their quarterback is no slouch. They've got a ton of speed on the team with Christian Kirk and Brian Thomas Jr. He's looking fantastic. But we've got our own firepower as well, and we've still got a robust pass rush. We should be able to handle them, but it's going to need the offense to score a little bit more. So let's look at an offensive domination for this game. Maybe the defense is ready to take a little bit of a backseat to that. Regardless, let's have a complete game in all three facets of the game. I absolutely can't not wait to watch it, and you guys should be looking forward to it too. In the meantime, let's continue to pray for victims of these hurricanes down in Florida, especially as we're playing a Florida team. Like I said yesterday, if you have the monetary ability to donate, please do so. And most of all, the best thing that we can do is pray for them. And I'm going to be doing that and joining you in that. So you guys bear down. Thank you so much for watching day after day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.